am Deidre Quinn, and welcome to Pending and Trending, a podcast that started in real estate and grew into so much more. Here, we talk about the power of building wealth, creating opportunities, and designing a life that lasts for generations. With expert guests and real conversations, my mission is simple: to help you elevate your journey and build the legacy you deserve. Welcome back to Pending and Trending, the podcast where we go beyond the transaction and into strategies, systems, and mindset behind building real wealth. I'm your host, Deidre Quinn, and today's conversation is all about rethinking one of the most overlooked and often most frustrating parts of real estate investing, property management. Joining me today is Liat Arama, co-founder of Keasy, a modern property management service that's interrupting traditional model in a good way. Instead of the typical full-service high-fee structure, Keasy offers a flexible a la carte approach, giving landlords more control, more transparency, and ultimately a better bottom line. But what makes this conversation especially powerful is that Liat didn't build this journey just from theory. She built it from experience. She's a landlord with a portfolio of over 140 units, and she created Keasy out of her own need for smarter systems, better support, and a more efficient way to scale without burnout. Welcome back to Pending and Trending. I'm happy to be joined today by Liat Arama. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you here today with us.
Hi, good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now, you are the co-founder of Keasy, and we were talking a little bit before we started recording here. What led to you developing the property management service, Keasy, and tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a landlord myself, and I had a really nice portfolio. I have a really nice portfolio here in Washington State, and I was looking for help. But I was looking for help that is not take over, make all decisions for me, but just back me up on times that I'm out or when I need a break or when there is something that I really don't want to do. So Keasy was born from my own need to that service. And basically Keasy is a property management concierge. We sell property management services on an a la carte basis, giving the landlords the option to choose what they want to do on their own, where they want to outsource, and also keep the control on all the important decisions of repair and maintenance and finding tenants, etc. So that's kind of like in a very high level what Keasy is doing.
Yeah, that's great, because when you think about, first of all, I don't know how you manage 140 or 150 properties. That's a lot if you're doing that without a system, right? So you certainly need a system in place to do that. But how many people really get burnt out? Like they have properties and they have tenants and they're burnt out on the midnight calls of whatever that is. So I think that that's great. And then people can actually choose exactly which services they want, which is awesome. What are some gaps that you try to fill as far as, like I mentioned, like the midnight calls? What are some gaps that you try to fill?
We started with the midnight calls because every landlord will tell you that everything is fine until and just before you're on vacation or just before midnight or just before Christmas. So the first thing we did, we created a 24/7 support center where every subscribed landlord and property gets access to. And then basically we answer calls on behalf of landlord 24/7 for a fixed subscription fee. And this is the base. That took a lot of stress out of landlords who were scared to make the transition, because basically what we told them is, hey, you still have that coverage. The only difference is after we pick up the phone and we got the information, instead of just acting, we will reach out to you or act based on the instructions you've already given us. So that would be the first layer of Keasy. And from that, it trickled down to, hey, this happened. We can do A, B, and C. What would you like? And so on. So giving really the landlord full control, transparency, and the ability to know what's going on and make decisions that are right for them in the right time.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And then now, do your landlords tend to start like small and then say, okay, we want you to do everything now? Like, how does that tend to work?
It's all over the place. So we have landlords who are what we call hands-off. Basically, they say, hey, Keasy, better make all decisions for me, bill me for actions. And then they just get updates. This happened, that happened, we've done N, we've done B. This usually happens with larger landlords or asset managers where they have a strategy and they don't have time for details. So we make decisions for them. Then we have landlords who likes to be involved, who likes to do things on their own, who likes to know everything that's going on. And the beauty about Keasy is that we can accommodate all of them. Right? We have landlords that like to take care of repair and maintenance themselves. So they want us to take the message, give them the information, but they want to be the one going and handling. peace. Your property, your rules. And same for really everything else that we offer.
And then what's your coverage area?
So right now, Keasy is operating in Washington State. The plan is to take Keasy to other markets, hopefully even this year. I can't say yet, but that's like the big plan. The way we operate is we have one command center that does all the troubleshooting, answering the phone, coordination, and that is just one location that can handle anywhere we go. And then we have key holders, which are the property management on site that are executing property management tasks. Moving tenants in, moving tenants out, inspecting, even eviction. All of these things that requires boots on the ground, we have people in different areas allowing us to expand our service without opening more offices. So right now, Washington State full coverage. Very soon, more surprises to come.
How exciting. Now, you're not releasing where yet until when do you expect to be making that next move?
This year.
This year.
Yeah. And there is a few markets that we're looking at. I just don't want to overpromise, but there are a few markets that we look at. We get great feedbacks from landlords. They obviously love us. They save money. They get better transparency and control at their portfolio. So it's really just a matter of we're working with a few groups where we're going to land first.
Excellent. So you mentioned save money. So, it's very easy to make mistakes when you're a landlord and mistakes that cost you money. What are the biggest financial mistakes that you see with landlords?
The financial mistakes that I see in property management are generally coming from conflict of interest in the regular property management model. When you let somebody run your property and that somebody earns a kickback for any repair and maintenance or earns a commission every time you replace a tenant, you will have more repair and maintenance and you will always have that short-term rental that's not renewing their lease. I think the main thing that Keasy is trying to do is to give that to the landlord to make those decisions based on their preferences. And then landlords don't make mistakes when it comes to their money. If I know I want to sell the property next year, I will approve a travel nurse because it's working for my bigger plan. But if I know I'm holding this property forever, I would prefer a long-term tenant. So these are the types of decision that if made by the property owner, in my view, there is no wrong decision.
Right. Now, do you help them make those decisions or yes? Okay.
Yeah. So, of course, there is the compliant piece, the fair housing, all of these things. We definitely don't want landlords to make illegal decision or even immoral decision. So Keasy has a book of policies and follows all the regular regulation. And when a decision is needed, we send the landlord the option that we recommend. And the option that we recommend are based on rules and regulation of where we are working. And in Washington State, this can be one thing in Seattle and another thing in Tacoma and another thing in Burien. So we have an entire compliance layer where we protect the landlords when they make decisions as best as we can. Not to tell you that I don't sometimes get landlords who want to make decisions that I don't like, but then they are not a good fit to be our clients.
Got it. Okay. So do you also then, you're finding the tenants for the landlords as well in some cases?
We do. Yeah, if landlords want, we offer two types of leasing services. Full lease up, where we just take the listing, create it, push it, find tenants, close the lease. But some landlords, they just want the leasing service, the actual signage of the lease. So we have licensed brokers, and if you already have a tenant and you just needed to prepare a lease, that's a different price. We can do that too. Everything is basically a menu of services. You can put it together any way you want.
And then what are the key decisions? What are key decisions that would separate a profitable portfolio versus an underperforming one?
Oh my gosh. The type of tenant you choose, your screening criteria, right? There is always that balancing between I want my units filled versus I want tenants that can actually afford living in my property. So that's a key decision, that if you don't do your proper screening and if you're not choosing tenants that are right fit for the property, you're going to get yourself in trouble. That's one big decision. How you handle collection in general, end to end. There's a lot of small decisions in that process that affect your bottom line significantly. And then there is all your repair and maintenance. Watch your utilities, watch general repair and maintenance. Have a plan when something breaks in a property. Are we replacing or repairing? How all these, each component of the property. All of these things together end up affecting the bottom line, which is why we are all here.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. So I love that you saw a frustration in landlords and the everyday and what they do, and you did something about it. I think that's really awesome. So, what lessons did you learn? What mistakes did you make along the way from building a company like this? And I know you balance a lot of things, right? You have 140 or 150 properties of your own, and then you have that business. And so, how do you balance all that?
How much time do you have? Just
I
kidding.
know, right? Hard.
Yeah, in some ways, Keasy, it was my way of escaping my own portfolio because I got to a size where I understood that scaling is my only way out. The only way that this will work better if it will be bigger. And I think that realization happened somewhere between 80 units and up that I'm like, okay, I need systems, I need tools. And when I built those systems and tools for myself, I realized I can run a whole lot more with the same resources that I already built for me, throw in my knowledge and experience and the mistakes I've already made. You're welcome. You got a little machine here that can run your property super efficiently, costing you less and producing the same result, if not better.
I love that. I am all about systems and tools, and it's just so much better when you have those in place. And yeah, you can do so much more. That's great. That's great. So, how is property management evolving with technology and AI and all of that?
Yeah, fast, like all industries. I feel like this industry is a little bit lagging in general in adapting to changes, but this is something we cannot ignore, right? All the things we talked about, compliance and things that used to be really complicated to figure out are now 1 minute to resolve. So that's like for me, how much we can do with few resources is the main. Oh my gosh, what technology brought to property management. There's a huge opportunity here, and I think the market is going to change. Operators who will adapt and work smart will simply make more money, and their assets will just be worth more. That's where I'm at on the technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
What types of technology are you currently implementing in Keesey?
Yeah. So we're like a puzzle of apps and AI brains and different things that, you can utilize per need. Give you some example. We have an AI bot called Code Compliance, and that is a AI bot that is trained on the rules and regulation of landlord tenant in Washington state in every city and county that we work. So when I need to answer a question, write an addendum, do anything that requires a legal touch, the first thing I do is I go to Cody, I put in the address, I ask the question, boom, I get the answer, the workflow, the plan, the whole thing. So that AI bot connects to multiple other workflows that we have at Keasy. Different lease renewal templates, different policies on how are we going to react when a tenant is late on payment, right? Like the reaction will be different based on the season even in some cities. Okay, so all of these decisions that are basically repetitive, right? And they're
Hmm.
coming from
Yeah.
experience and they're always the same, but we used to let people make those decisions. We let AI bots and automated processes make the decision for us. And that takes away feelings, takes away frustration, shorten processes, and brings a
Yeah.
boost of efficiency into the space.
That's excellent. Now, what should landlords and investors be paying attention to moving forward?
Always the bottom line. It's always the bottom line. How much are you collecting? How much are you spending and why? There is so much you can do. There is so much you can do on the collection, and then there is what you can do on reducing your expenses. But this is your property pulse, is how I call it. And
Hmm.
these are the numbers that you need to look. Yes, technology, no technology. Hey, if you have a property manager that's off grid and is getting the business rolling and everything is working and you're happy, peace. But it's probably not the case. So the bottom line is where everybody needs to focus. And if they don't like it, squeeze it.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so pretty simple. The bottom line is what we all look for in the end. And I wanted to tell you that I love the name. So there's like psychology behind that name. It's the key and then it's easy and I just think it's like a really catchy name. So kudos to you for that. I think that's an awesome name. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
There is a lot of things. Again, it's depending on how much time you have. But I think if I want to share one thing for the, takeaway, it's March 27 today. It's a Women History Month. We had an International Women's Day and all of that. So I just want to mention again that I'm very lonely here in the real estate world, especially in the commercial real estate world. I don't know why women don't choose this career path. It is flexible, convenient, fun, adventurous. Just want to invite more women to just go out there and start doing that.
I love that. I love that. Okay, and then where can our listeners find you? It's very easy. It's one word for them in a lot of cases. Where can they find you?
Yeah. So as you said, the name is Keasy, K-Easy, stands for Give Me the Keys, I Make It Easy. There's a nice story over there. In any case, Keasy.ai is our website, and you can get on from the website. You can chat or you can email. There's multiple ways you can contact us, and if you ask to talk to me, then you will get to me. And from there, our chatbot will not leave you alone. Just go on Keasy.ai and start your journey to easy management.
And I can't wait to see you expand to other places. I'll be watching for you. So keep me posted. I'll be following you and what you do. And yeah, we'll collaborate with you so that I know when you're expanding.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking for good people all over. So definitely stay in touch.
That's excellent. So thank you so much for being on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a happy Friday.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Pending and Trending. A big thank you to Liat Arama for sharing her insights and for challenging the way we think about property management and scaling a portfolio and building systems that truly support investors instead of burning them out. What I love about this conversation is a reminder that real estate success isn't about just buying properties. It's about how you manage them, the decisions you make along the way, and the systems that you put in place to protect your time, energy, and your bottom line. If you'd like to learn more about her company, you can visit Keasy.ai to explore their approach to modern property management and see how their flexible model is helping landlords take back control of their portfolios. They are expanding. They're currently in Washington State, but they soon may be expanding to a location near you. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe, share it with a colleague or investor friend, and leave us a review. It helps more people discover the show. Until next time, remember, real wealth isn't built by accident. It's built with strategy, intention, and the courage to think differently. Thanks for tuning in to Pending and Trending. Remember, generational wealth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by action. If you like today's episode, share it with a friend, subscribe, and let's keep elevating your journey together.